Hey everyone, I saw Alien Romulus yesterday, so I figured it's a good time to update my AVP ranking. Just gonna put out a general spoiler alert for all 14 of these suckers. Starting off, number 14 is Aliens vs. Predator Requiem. I hate this movie, but not quite as much as everyone else seems to hate it. It's definitely bad, but it has some things going in its favor. On the one hand, there are a lot more practical effects than you might think. For example, down in the sewers, the facehuggers are practical. The problem is that it's so dark you can't really tell. And that's the movie's biggest problem. You can't see shit. And when you can see shit, it's shit you don't care about, like the townsfolk. And that's a problem with both AVP movies. Characters are flat and the acting is bland. But I could maybe forgive that if I could see what the fuck is going on. The kills, at the very least, are better than they were in the first AVP. I will give it that. But overall, this is not unwatchable, but it's bad. It's really bad. Score is 1.5 out of 5. Number 13 is The Predator. This movie has a solid cast, and most of them are completely wasted. I love Shane Black, but this is beneath him. This is like a massive misstep. Shane, you are better than this. You are a better director than this, and you are a better writer than this. What the fuck were you thinking? The problem with this movie is that he's trying to make everyone a wisecracking jokester like Hawkins, his character from the original Predator. This movie also has one of the most tone-deaf portrayals of autism I've ever seen. The Accountant, this is not. Not the worst portrayal, mind you. It gets some things right. By tone-deaf, I mean it portrays it in too positive of a light. It portrays it as like a borderline superpower with a couple minor drawbacks, when in reality it is just a big old mixed bag. I would know. The whole idea of the Predators wanting the kid because autism is the next step in human evolution, or whatever, that on its own is asinine. However, I can forgive that because my chosen interpretation is not that that is actually the case. It's that the Predators think that's the case, and they're wrong. The Uber Predator, or whatever the hell it's called, is a cool idea, but the lackluster CGI does not help, and those legs definitely fall under artistic license biology. There are some minor plot holes. Some shit was just cut out for seemingly no reason, like the bit where our protagonist is actually picked up by the government. We never actually see that. Like, he's free 1 minute, and the next minute he's being interrogated. I think something happens in between, I don't remember. That being said, most of the action is at least decent, and some of the jokes are genuinely funny. The Haunted Mansion bit got a laugh out of me.
Here, throw this on.
Is it just your imagination? Or is this haunted room actually stretching?
Every fucking time?
And also when Scientist Lady, I do not remember anybody's names, wakes up in the bed and the soldiers have all like staged a couple of things and then taken bets to see what she'll do. That was legitimately funny, so I will give the movie some points for that. Score is 2 out of 5. Number 12 is Alien vs. Predator. What a fucking disappointment this movie was. The violence and the kills are neutered by the PG-13 rating, and their attempt to fix that in the unrated cut just consists of some mediocre CGI blood. The characters have all the depth of a kiddie pool, the pacing is not great. We have to wait way too long before we get some action. Now, I realize that was the case in many of the movies before this one, like Alien and Aliens. However, in those movies, it was actually done properly. There were still things happening. Here, we get the intro, and then nothing of importance happens, except for them traveling. And we didn't need to see nearly that much of them traveling. The whole traveling to get to Antarctica could have been condensed to, like, less than 5 minutes. That being said, the action we do get is good. The acting is fine overall. Some of it is pretty good, some of it is just wooden as all hell. And the practical effects look great. Scores 2.5 out of 5. Number 11 is Alien Resurrection. This is a weird-ass movie, but it's also kinda fun. The writing is bad, but not offensively so. The acting is hit and miss, and the cinematography makes some scenes feel like a goddamn music video. Winona Ryder is really good, and the rest of the acting is at least decent. The underwater bit is legitimately intense, even if I don't believe they could have held their breath that long, but I can forgive that. There are some solid kills. There's also just a bunch of stupid shit, like the military leader, the colonel, the general, whatever. He's just a cartoon character, complete with the weird bug-eyed look he has as he's saluting and right before he dies. It's bizarre. My score is 2.5 out of 5. Number 10 is Alien 3. The theatrical cut of this film is a mess. The assembly cut is better. Still not great, but better. The acting is hit and miss, but most of it is at least fine. Doesn't help that most of the characters are bald white guys who are hard to tell apart if you can't see their faces up close. The use of CGI is pretty wonky in a few shots, but the practical effects are solid and I love the new alien design. The plot is so-so. I don't think everything worked, but I appreciate the risks they took, like having Ripley get face-hugged, and I love the ending.
You're crazy. What are you doing?
If only it had ended there. Score is 3 out of 5. Number 9 is Prometheus. Say what you will about this movie, at the very least it is very ambitious with the big questions it's asking. Where do we come from? You sure you want to know? The acting is good overall. Most of the characters are underdeveloped. The visual effects are excellent, and the action that we get is pretty solid.
Take him out! You ready, Chance? Yes.
I am here to defend some of the stupid shit, not all of it. There is some stupid shit in this movie that is unforgivable, some that is at least worth defending. The Prometheus school of running away from falling objects. That I will defend. Should they have run to the side? Maybe, yeah, but here's the thing. They're panicking, so they're not thinking clearly. And also, physics.
Physics. Physics, eh? Physics. 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 Physics.
When the engineer ship is falling, they don't know which way it's gonna go. And even when it starts rolling, yeah, maybe they should have run to the side. But once it stops rolling that way, it starts tipping to the side. So, yeah, even if they had gone to the side, it would have been 50-50. With that being said, the overall character stupidity here is more egregious than in, like, any of the other movies in this franchise, in either franchise. Because, unlike the space truckers in the first movie and the space marines in the second movie, the characters here were specifically chosen for this mission because they are the best in their fields. And yes, some of the bad decisions are in character. Some of it, not so much. Fifield getting lost is fine, is perfectly justified, because he is not a cartographer. He is a geologist. He studies rocks. Also, he doesn't have access to the map that his pups made, and that's why he and Milburn got lost after their comms are cut off. However, Milburn, getting all friendly with this unknown alien creature just to show off to his new friend, that is fucking stupid. Milburn, you are a biologist. You should know better. The score is 3 out of 5. Number 8 is Predator 2. This is a weird one, but my appreciation for it has grown over time. It's not a great movie, but I fucking love it, largely because of how batshit crazy it is. You have Danny Glover playing a cop who is more Riggs than Murtaugh. There's the fact that everyone in the city seems to be packing heat.
No need for that. Get the hell away from me! I know how to use this thing!
We got a cab
Don't make me use this thing! Come on, bigger than yours!
I'll take that.
Hold it, please!
We're in trouble now.
Nobody move!
Then you have dialogue like this.
Which means you cut it off my dick and shoving it up my ass.
The action is pretty solid. The acting is good. The Predator is fucking awesome. Again, there is some character stupidity, but I like that we learn more about the Predators and like where they draw the line in certain situations. Like they would prefer not to harm a pregnant woman. And honestly, the final fight is pretty awesome. The score is 3.5 out of 5. Number 7 is Alien Covenant. Honestly, this movie gets a bit of a bad rep. I mean, sure, the plot's nothing new for the most part. CGI is somehow a step down from Prometheus, but otherwise, it's an improvement. You get the philosophical stuff from Prometheus with some of the action from Aliens, and I think it mostly works. The CGI is a step down from Prometheus, but it's mostly just the neomorphs. I dig their design, but they just look digital. The effects aren't awful, but you can tell they're not really there. It's not a case where, like, they don't have mass, it's just the rendering, I think. They don't quite fit into the background, or at least in the scene where they're inside the ship. Once they're outside, they look better. Although that might just be the different lighting, I don't know. The protomorph, or whatever it's called, that thing looks fine. That thing looks like it's actually there. I'm not a fan of this version of the chestburster, where it's just a tiny alien already fully formed, and then presumably it just gets bigger. No. That just looks wrong. The effects look good, it's just the design does not look right. The acting is pretty good overall. Michael Fassbender is fantastic. He's doing some of the heavy lifting, especially since he's pulling double duty here. The writing is definitely better than the writing in Prometheus. Seriously, the scene where Daniels questions whether this new planet is too good to be true, that whole discussion between her and Aurum shows more character intelligence than like the entirety of Prometheus. The action scenes are really fucking good, especially when the protomorph is attacking as they're leaving, and that whole sequence where it's like on the loader as they're taking off.
Forward engine! Starboard side! I'm gonna try and torch the fucker!
Shit, can't get it!
Hold tight, hold tight! I'm starting my climb!
And I fucking love the ending. That is some... whew, that's good shit. Score is 3.5 out of 5. Number 6 is Predators. My biggest problem with this movie is that Adrian Brody feels miscast. His performance is good, and apparently he beefed up for the role, but it wasn't quite enough. During the final fight, he looks like he's about 120 pounds soaking wet. Otherwise, this movie is pretty great. Alice Braga and Oleg Taktarov are really good, Walton Goggins and Lawrence Fishburne are great, and the others are at least pretty good.
Fuck me.
Wound one man. Make him suffer. Make him bleed. Make him call out for help. And set a trap. And kill those who come. I know because I have done this.
The action is consistently good. The Predators themselves are fucking awesome. Unlike in Shane Black's movie, I love the new Predator design here. This feels like a distant cousin of the same species, or like a different subspecies, or however the hell genetics and species work. The pacing is a little uneven. There are certain points where you can tell the writers weren't really sure what should happen. It's not super noticeable, it's just like kinda there. The score is 3.5 out of 5. Number 5 is Alien Romulus. This is where spoilers might happen, so beware. Here's a fun fact. The last human character to die in this movie, what happens to them before they die is what Republicans think the COVID vaccine will do to you. This isn't quite the breath of fresh air that Prey was, but it's a breath of fresh air nonetheless. This definitely feels like a return to form for the franchise after Prometheus and Covenant, as much as I like those movies. Fede Alvarez has always been good at creating characters with depth, and this movie is no exception. Case in point, Navarro. As seen in the trailer, she is the first to go, but we get some characterization from her before she goes. At first, she seems alright, but when she's praying in Mandarin, she asks her ancestors to protect the 5 of them, meaning that Bjorn isn't the only one who's bigoted against the synthetics. The acting in this movie is just so damn good. Isabella Merced is the standout. but Kaylee Spaney, David Johnson, and Archie Renault are also great. Spike Fern and Eileen Wu don't get as much screen time, but they are also solid. There is a bit of CGI that doesn't look quite right, but for the most part, the visuals are solid. This is very much a return to the cyberpunk with a chance of rain aesthetic of Aliens, but also the tension of Alien with some of the action of Aliens mixed in. And apparently, I wouldn't know from experience, but apparently there are some nods to Alien Isolation thrown in, so kudos for that.
Wait.
Haven't played it, but I've heard it's really good. I love Dead Space, so I'll probably have to check it out. Anywho, bad decisions are made, stupid decisions are made. Unlike some of the other movies, they actually feel in character, so I will give them that. I also love that we get more wrinkles of what the fuck Weyland Yutani even wants with the xenomorphs in the first place. That was nice to flesh that out a bit more. And this movie finally ties everything together, like stuff that was set up in Prometheus and Covenant is finally either paying off or at least being like firmly, what's the word I'm looking for? It falls into the TV trope of arc welding, where it's like you have the stuff from the past and the stuff from the future finally having a middle point to connect it together. And I love that they did that. The score is 4 out of 5. Number 4 is the original Predator. This is one of the best action movies of the 80s and maybe one of the best of all time. I don't know, but it's fucking great. The acting is not the best, but it's as good as it needs to be. The writing is solid and the music is awesome. The first fight where the squad fights the gorillas is your standard 80s action scene. It's just shots of guys shooting guns and shots of people getting shot, but you never actually see the shooters and the shootees in the same shot when both actions are happening. There's not much tension because the heroes are just unstoppable. I think Blaine is the only one who actually gets hit, and he just gets, like, grazed. So yeah, it is your typical 80s action scene, which I'm not always a fan of. However, I can forgive it here because it is the bait half of a bait and switch. All of the action after that is these unstoppable 80s action heroes no longer being unstoppable and being picked off one by a superior hunter.
Dame la mano.
Run! Go! Get to the chopper!
So it works. It is establishing your expectations, and then it is pulling the rug out from under you. I envy anyone who saw this movie in the trailers without knowing that there was going to be an alien. The Predator itself is fucking awesome, and Kevin Peter Hall gives a great physical performance. Score is 4.5 out of 5. Number 3 is Prey. Can you say course correction, boys and girls? This is exactly the breath of fresh air that the Predator franchise needed after the last movie. Amber Mid-Thunder is fantastic, and the rest of the cast is solid. Script is tight, prioritizing characters over action scenes without skimping on the action scenes. Setup and payoff is something that even bad movies have, but it is possible to do a bad setup and payoff, whether it's just not properly doing the setup or just making it too obvious. This movie does not do that. This movie is an example of how to do it right. When the dog's leg gets caught in the trap, for one, it establishes the relationship between Naru and her dog. Secondly, it establishes that there is a separate element of humans somewhere in the area. That's just one example. There's a whole truckload of them. I also love that we finally get to see the Predator actually tracking its prey like a real hunter. That was really fucking cool. I don't know if people are still complaining about this, but at the time the movie came out, people were complaining, she doesn't have modern technology, there's no way she would have won. Motherfucker, did you watch the first movie? Modern technology did fuck all against the Predator. Modern technology made it bleed, and that was it. Dutch beat the Predator by going archaic, by going barbaric. That is how he won. He won not by using technology, but by using nature, or by using like more primitive means is the point. So Naru using her shit to beat the Predator is the same. It's also clearly established that she is a smart hunter, just like the Predator. So it works.
Not too much, not too little.
My score is 4.5 out of 5. Number 2 is the original Alien. This might be the greatest sci-fi horror movie of all time. It's top 5 at least. The acting is solid across the board. The characters are not geniuses, but their intelligence levels are believable just based on everything we know about them. These people are not the supposed to be smart scientists from Prometheus. They're also not the younger, less world-weary protagonists from Alien Romulus. These are space truckers. So there are bits where they don't know what's going on, but they know, oh, I shouldn't do that. The music is great. The writing is excellent. Ridley Scott does an outstanding job of just creating this tense atmosphere.
Check that out, Lambert. You may be getting interference.
Dallas, are you sure there is no sign of it? I mean, it is there. It's gotta be around there.
Dallas?
All right. Am I Claire Lambert? I want to get the hell out of here.
Oh, God, it's moving right towards you. Move, get out of there. Moving towards you, move. Dallas, move, Dallas. Move, Dallas, get out. Oh, no, not that way, the other way, God. Dallas? No.
Take it easy. Dallas?
The chestburster scene is genuinely one of the best scares in any horror movie. I love that there's no exposition. There's no, as you know, dialogue. We are inserted into this world with no little clues as to what things are, what is and is not a thing. There is no establishment of synthetics being a thing. There is no explanation of like the minor damage that the dropship takes when they land on the planet. It's just a rough landing, does a little bit of damage, but they're fine and they just get back up. It's just part of their day-to-day life. People will complain about like everything in Prometheus was way more advanced than this shit. Motherfucker, do you not know how economics works? The people in Prometheus spent top dollar for their equipment. So they're gonna have top-of-the-line shit. Characters in the original are space truckers. They're not gonna get the brand new shiny space truck. They're gonna get the 40-year-old space truck that's missing a wheel, but still runs just fine. That's more a comment on Prometheus in this movie, but it's kind of both. Whatever. The score is 5 out of 5. Finally, number 1 is Aliens. This is one of Cameron's best. It is just a seamless blend of action and horror. And much like in the first movie, we don't get the aliens until like a good chunk into the movie. They don't even show up until 45 minutes in, maybe an hour in, something like that. But it still works. Unlike in something like AVP, it works here because there's still stuff going on. We are meeting the characters. We are learning that Ripley has some serious PTSD. Stuff like that. The writing is great. The acting is great. The action is awesome. The characters who are not relatable are at least fun to watch. I mean, Hudson is kind of annoying, but Bill Paxton was committed to that performance, and he should be praised for it. He is a side character in this movie, and he put in 110%. Creature effects are top-notch, I would argue even a step up from the first movie, and the final battle is legendary.
Get away from her, you bitch!
But also, the final battle is kind of realistic, aside from the scientific inaccuracies regarding the decompression. No, I mean the realism as in the fact that as big and strong as the alien queen is, there's not really much she can do to get at Ripley when Ripley's in the power loader. She like doesn't really do any damage. All she really does is like scratch the paint on the power loader. There's not much she can do. Really, the only time the Queen poses a threat during that fight is when she decides, fuck this, I'm taking you with me. My score is 5 out of 5. Hey everyone, what's your ranking? Let me know down in the comments. Like and subscribe and all that. If you don't like the video, tell me why, try to be constructive. Then subscribe anyway. You'll be notified when I upload a new video. Watch that, and then tell me why that one sucks. Or, if I've improved, tell me where I've improved. Originally, before I saw Alien Romulus, I was just going to have a really short video with a little announcement, but now that I'm doing this, I'm just going to tack on the announcement at the end. Due to a temporarily cluttered schedule, I probably will not have videos out next week or the week after. After that, I will be back to once a week. It's just for like the next 2 weeks, probably. That might change depending on if my plans change or if I end up with more free time than I expected, but for now, I'm just going to say there probably will not be videos next week or the week after. However, for those of you who actually look forward to these videos, I have a Patreon with some exclusive content. I will drop that link in the description. And I'm also a writer, and I have a whole bunch of shit that I've written on Archive of Our Own, which is also linked in the description. So if you're actually looking forward to the next videos, hopefully those can tide you over until I can get a new one up. That's all for now. Stay safe in these crazy times.